Yo, what's going on? Chavo Guerrero Jr. here, giving a big shout out to Wrestling Rehab. Keep watching, keep listening, and Viva la Raza.
Órale.
Orale, Cholo Trucker here, Wrestling Rehab. Shouts to all the junkies out there, man. Let me go ahead and get over here. All right. Hopefully everything's sounding all right, man. Just want to come on here, talk a little bit about a few things that are going on. Uh, I wanted to bring something up, and I'm gonna bring it up that happened on SmackDown last week. Okay, last week, not this past week. Okay, but last week. By the way, man, I'm over here stepping up the game a little bit. Hopefully everything sounds okay. Hopefully everything sounds all right. Hopefully the music in the background is not too loud. You guys can let me know. But anyway, I want to go ahead and touch on this, man. Last SmackDown. Okay, not the one that just passed where LA Knight comes and saves the day and becomes John Cena's new tag team partner at Fastlane, which we'll get to that in just a second. But let me lower the music down just a little bit. All right, so I want to talk about the main event or the big match that they were talking about, Io Sky versus Asuka last week, right? Now, personally, myself, I was looking forward to this match. I kind of thought, in my opinion, man, I was saying it for a minute or two, thinking that this was a pay per view main event match, right? I've been waiting for Io Sky versus Asuka. I have. Okay, I've been waiting for this, and when they went ahead and they said, "Okay, we're gonna do it on SmackDown," I was like, "Okay, that's cool," but immediately to me, I was just kind of like, "All right, you know what, Holmes? That probably means that this is gonna end with like interference or something like that, right?" Just because I really had high hopes for this match, right? Both of the girls can go, both of them being from Japan, man. I just thought they were gonna gel very, very well, and I thought I was just seeing an incredible match. All right, man. Not to be a Debbie Downer on any of this stuff, okay? Look, I still am a fan of both girls. Io Sky, in my opinion, I think is kind of drowning a little bit. They need to give her a little bit more of a push. I thought she got a great push becoming, Miss Money in the Bank. And at that point, I was like, you know what? That's the right person to do it. She's really coming up. She's really coming into her own. But since she won the strap, since she won the title, I don't think they've really been giving her too much of a push, man. There's really not a lot going on with her. She is the champ, she is champion, but I don't really see too much, man. I'm kind of forgetting about her a little bit. That ain't cool, homie. Because before before she became Miss Money in the Bank, before she became even champion, forget about Miss Money in the Bank. Before she became champion, she was huge. Before she became Miss Money in the Bank, most people that I knew were talking about like, hey, she should be the one to win Money in the Bank. And I'm like, yeah, that's the right answer. There's only one answer, and that's the answer right there. But for one reason or another, man, now that she has completed all that, now that she completed winning Money in the Bank, now that she completed cashing in Money in the Bank successfully, and she's champion, she's kind of drowned it out. Doesn't make her a bad wrestler. I'm just really not sure if maybe they're just not doing it right. But nonetheless, in my opinion, I was just kind of like, you know what? I definitely want to see this Io Sky versus Oscar match. They went ahead and they did it on a SmackDown. Let me tell you guys this, Holmes. That match was, I don't want to exaggerate and put too much cold water on it, but it was pretty upsetting. It was a little upsetting for me. You got two girls that can really get down. And the the anticipation for me in that match was, I don't want to say through the roof, but I really wanted that match to happen. And now that is behind us, I'm kind of like, wow, I watched that match and listen, junkies, I saw a lot of botches. I did, man. I did. I don't know how you guys watch wrestling, man. I don't know if maybe you guys were, tossing a few back or something like that. But, I saw it, man. And I saw quite a few botches. It started taking the excitement for me out. I was like, my goodness, I'm not even really enjoying this match. Now, I don't want to exaggerate and say that this was the worst match when it comes to botches. I've seen some worse matches than this, but because because I hold these two girls to a very high standard, I was pretty disappointed seeing the botches in this match. Once you start seeing botches, it takes you out of the moment. It takes you out of the story. It takes you out of what they're trying to do, what they're trying to sell you, right? I want to get lost in the story, homie. Okay, just I don't want to think about anything else. Nothing. Nothing else in the world exists. I am just lost in the story. And seeing this match from these two ladies, from their caliber, and seeing some of these botches took me out of the story. It took me out of the story, homie. It took me out of the story, and I just couldn't enjoy the match anymore. And it's not that I'm not a fan of them anymore. To me, Asuka, I think Asuka's kind of ran her course. I'm not really sure if Asuka still has a bright future in the WWE. She's got to be up there in age. She's still a pretty good wrestler. Don't get me wrong, man. Don't get me wrong. Asuka is still a pretty good wrestler. Okay, I'm not gonna say that she's washed up, but she is up there in age, man. And I don't know how bright her future in the WWE is anymore. Not that they should let her go, not for any, not after all the let goes that they did with Elias and all those guys, Dolph Ziggler and Shelton Benjamin and all those guys, right? She still has a place there. Is she still really main event material? Is it time that they bring Oscar down just a little bit? Because look, after last night's SmackDown, now she's part of the main event, which is it's cool. That's fine, but I don't think she's gonna win. What's up, Richard? Middle of the desert. Thumbs up. I appreciate that, man. But yeah, it was upsetting, man. It was upsetting. It was upsetting to see these two girls. It was like old lion versus young lion. It was like an older Oscar versus a younger Oscar, and it just wasn't a good match. Just was not a good match, man. Too many botches. Too many botches. Out of the story. Bam. Still a fan of Io Sky. Still want to see what's going on with Io Sky, but at this point where it stands right now, man, homie, I don't even really care too much about her. I was caring a lot. I was caring a lot about her before she became Miss Money in the Bank. I was a big fan of her, Holmes. I was like, heck yeah, man, this girl's moving on up. Right now, though, as champion, I've kind of lost interest. And it's not because she became champion. It's not like, oh man, you know what? I was on board until she reaches her goal. Now that she reaches her goal, now, I'm off. No, that's not what it was about. It's because she is a good wrestler. But her storylines, man, everything that goes with it has just lost steam. It's lost steam. So it's unfortunate. But as we get closer to Fastlane, that's probably the match that I'm looking forward to the most, though. Right? When you got a triple threat match, especially when you got three individuals that can really go in the ring, that's always a good thing. So it looks like that's set for Fastlane next week between Io Sky, Charlotte, and Asuka. Pretty much being forced by Bailey. I mean that little faction, that trio right there is just not working. It definitely helped Io Sky because not too many people knew who she was. Helped her. She's gotten up there. I don't know if she's just kind of gotten lost in the shuffle. Maybe some people are not on board with me, but she's kind of lost a lot of, luster, man. I don't really care too much about her anymore. Hopefully that changes. Hopefully they bring her up because this girl is good. Pivoting here to what I saw last night on Friday Night SmackDown. Definitely huge on the return of one Mr. L.A. Knight. Yeah. Spence, I got a call here. But anyway, what do I think about this? Okay. About LA Knight. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's doing okay. Definitely need him. All right. I don't think he was gonna lose any more steam if he was out for another week. Even if he was out for another 2 weeks, I still don't think he was gonna lose any steam whatsoever. He had cut a promo. Okay, he cut a promo after he beat the Miz. And what did he say? What did he say? He said he's after gold. He's after gold, homie. He's after the hardware. Right? So if you're after gold, what's up with him going to a pay-per-view being in a tag team match? Look, Holmes. Okay, before I continue with LA Knight, let's get to John Cena for just a second. Just a second. I'm a fan of John Cena. I am. All right, from back in the day, dog. Not when he was the prototype. I didn't really care about him at that point. But when he was with the Chain Gang and Word Life and all that, till he transitioned to this, the whole never give up and hustle, loyalty, and respect. I've been a fan of John Cena all the way through and through. I'm not one of these dudes that like, oh, John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks. Nah, 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 dog. I actually am a fan of John Cena. When he faced The Rock at WrestleMania, both WrestleManias, I was rooting for my boy John Cena. And I am a fan of The Rock. When The Rock was doing his thing back in the day, man, when Stone Cold Steve Austin, a lot of people were fans of Stone Cold Steve Austin. While I did like Stone Cold Steve Austin, I was more of a fan of The Rock. But nonetheless, going back to John Cena at this point is the Brooklyn Brawler. John Cena at this point is a glorified, famous jobber. What is this dude winning? Of course, man. Of course, he's not full time. I get it. I got it. He ain't full time. But this dude is a jobber, homie. He's losing and pretty much just losing straight up. It's not like, they're, oh man, they got to cheat to beat him to get the 1, 2, 3 on him. But this guy has become somewhat of the Brooklyn Brawler, which, by the way, man, by the way, I love the Brooklyn Brawler, dog. Serio, I do, man. The greatest jobber ever, the Brooklyn Brawler. But now that he's feuding with the Bloodline, which I don't know if the Bloodline is just a tag team now, since the Tribal Chief isn't around. So we just got Solo and Jimmy. Let's all take a moment and acknowledge our Tribal Chief. We acknowledge you, our Tribal Chief. Waiting for him to come back, because at this point the Bloodline is basically just a tag team. That's all it really is. He's got people were predicting that it was going to be AJ Styles teaming up with John Cena. It's not the case. John Cena goes out there talking about he's all big and bad, which that's cool. That's what John Cena does. But in reality, homeboy, you've been sucking for a while, dog. Serio, Holmes. John Cena's been losing. Vato's a loser. Hey, man, John Cena. I'm trying to think what was the last good match he really had that he won. Like, big match, right? I mean, he was at WrestleMania. He loses. I know. I was there. Like, I'm not expecting him to win. As a matter of fact, man, John Cena winning, I'm talking about one-on-one matches. John Cena winning actually would surprise me today. I'm talking about a pretty, I'm not talking about just a little cheapy ringy-ding match, but, a pretty good, decent match. I expect him to lose. Cleanly, by the way. I think the WWE has kind of overdone that. I'm not sure if anybody's really expecting John Cena to win. And I'm not even really sure if beating John Cena today really puts you over. But nonetheless, he's out there running his mouth, pumping everybody up, which is fine. Talking about, if he cannot find a tag team partner, he will go into Fastlane in a 1-on-2 handicap match. LA Knight's music hits. Everybody goes crazy. Shout outs to Sacramento. Shout outs to Sakura, because that's where it was at. He comes out, saves the day, signs the contract, making him John Cena's tag team partner for Fastlane. Okay. Going back to where LA Knight left off, talking about it's about the gold. He is after gold, right? What's up, Shadow? That he's after gold. That's what he's going for. Okay, so if he's after gold, when he beat The Miz, he cuts this promo calling out Rey Mysterio, calling out Gunther, calling out Seth freaking Rollins, calling out the Tribal Chief, because that's what he's going after. Comes back, and now he's in a tag team match in a pay-per-view. Okay, cool. Not too bad. Where does this go? Is he gonna be homies with John Cena, dog? Because John Cena's look. I'm still a fan of John Cena, but the old John Cena, what made me a fan of John Cena once upon a time. But today's John Cena to me kind of sucks, homie. That dude loses a lot. He he does. He's definitely John Cena is definitely living on what he did once upon a time, which is fine. You know what? If you earned that, you earned it. But I don't know if we need to be putting these fools in, man, in some sort of main events. He's still somewhat of a star. I get it. He's still a star. I'm not gonna deny that. But damn, dog, this dude loses all the time. I don't want my boy LA Knight. But with this fool, you know what LA Knight probably should do. You guys seen the movie Rocky? Rocky Part 3. Remember when Apollo goes to shake Clubber Lang's hand? What does Clubber Lang do? Get out my face, chump. I don't need some washed up has-been over here messing in my corner. LA Knight should have probably done that to John Cena. Get out my ring, punk. I don't need some washed up has-been over here. What's up, Disco? What's up? Is there a pay-per-view this week? NXT starts in a few minutes. Yeah, NXT starts in a few minutes. I think there's that NXT show. Yeah, there's definitely NXT, man. I'm gonna talk about that just for a little bit in a minute or two. But so LA Knight, man, now he's teaming up with John Cena against the Bloodline. I think this is where we see Roman Reigns come back. But this could be the entryway for LA Knight to go after Roman Reigns, right? Since he's gonna start mixing it up with Jimmy and Uso, with Jimmy and Solo. This could be where LA Knight starts inserting himself, making his way up to the tribal chief. So that's not really what I wanted to see. I don't mind it. That's cool. I'm okay with it. I got no issue with it. I'm not going to complain, but that's not what I wanted. I actually wanted him. I wanted LA Knight to take the strap off of Gunther. Yes, I get it. To some people, that's a mid-card title, homie. That's a mid-card title. Wow, for what, you know? To me, that's the most prestigious title ever. And I don't like that Gunther's Intercontinental champion. But, oh well. I'm not going to complain if LA Knight goes and takes on the tribal chief, and this could be the beginning of that. Because now he's going to be mixing it up with the bloodline. Shadow, stop, Holmes. Stop, dog. Stop, Shadow. You know what, Shadow? Okay. All right. Just because of that. Just because of that. You did this, Holmes. You brought this on yourself, Shadow. And you know what's crazy is that this could be it, man. This could be where LA Knight starts working his way up there. Hopefully they don't do it too soon. Maybe I should turn this off, Spencer. But this could be it. I'm not sure. I try to put these pieces together, right? And it's like, okay, if Roman loses the strap, right? If he loses the title, shouldn't he lose it at WrestleMania? But then I'm like thinking, no, actually he shouldn't. He should lose it before WrestleMania. So if this is the way to get LA Knight into the mix with Roman Reigns by feuding with Jimmy and Solo, get the strap off of Roman before WrestleMania makes perfect sense. Why? Why does that make sense? Why not have Roman lose at WrestleMania? Well, here's why. Because as everybody knows, man, we're all waiting to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns. There is no way you can make that match happen if Roman is champion. And if you do it at WrestleMania, everyone's going to expect Roman to lose if it's him versus LA Knight or somebody else, right? Instead, do it at one of these other pay-per-views or heck, even a SmackDown, dog, where nobody's expecting it. I don't think they'll do it at a SmackDown. I'm being real with you guys, dog. I don't think they do it at a SmackDown, but I think they do it in some other pay-per-view. Yeah. Let me see. My boy has that ready to go. Hey, what's up, Vanessa? Uh, who is that? Must be a jobber. I'll tell you guys this, man. John Cena today, he's a jobber. He's a jobber. John Cena today, the John Cena of today, he's the Brooklyn Brawler, Holmes. He's just a popular jobber. What's that for winning? What's he winning? I'm a fan of John Cena, homie, and I always will be. But you talk John Cena today, dog? Come on, homie. That dude's the Brooklyn Brawler. That fool's losing. Nobody even has to cheat to beat him. He's just taking losses. 1, 2, 3. Boom, you beat John Cena. To the point where it's like nobody even cares anymore. It used to be once upon a time. Once upon a time, if you beat John Cena cleanly, it was like, oh, damn. Like, whoa, dog. You know what? This dude's badass, homie. Why? Because he beat John Cena cleanly. Today, everybody beats John Cena cleanly, dog. He's he's the new Brooklyn Brawler, homie. He's the new, glorified popular jobber. So, but yeah, let's see what happens with this main event next week, which I will be on during the week, breaking down Fastlane or predicting Fastlane. We'll definitely do a pre-show. Let's see if I could get some of the guys on here. Let's see if Shadow would jump on here, homie, from Marty NT, to talk a little bit of Fastlane. But let's go ahead and let's move on a little bit on what's going on tonight. You got NXT. Now, I do enjoy what they're doing with NXT. So NXT is pretty much the lower tier below Raw and SmackDown. Everybody in NXT is trying to make it up to the main roster. But what they've been doing with NXT is actually pretty freedom, man. They've been okay, so I was at Monday Night Raw this past Monday in Ontario, and they had the NXT North American title on the line with Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom versus Dragon Lee. Does anybody who watches the main roster know who Dragon Lee is? No, they don't. But after seeing him in that match with Dominic Mysterio, then yeah, dog, they know a little bit more about him, and that was the best match of the night, and it was a damn good match. But they're using the main roster to promote NXT itself. Now they got Becky Lynch. Think about that. Becky Lynch, she is over. Okay, this is one of the most popular female wrestlers, man. Or I could just say most popular wrestler right now. She's not the greatest. She's not the best. Let's calm it down. All right. She's not the greatest. She's not the best. She never was. She never will be. But her stardom is there. She does have that superstar power. And she's a good wrestler, dog. I'm not gonna take that away from her, but I just don't like when people come on and say, like, oh man, she's the best. No, she's not. No, she's not. No, she's not. You can say she's one of the best, but she's not the best. There is one that is the best, and that's the queen. So anyway, they have Becky Lynch go down to NXT. What's up, Pablo? this point, I don't even care if Crash Holly, goodness gracious, is champion. Anybody except Roman. Oh man, hey Crash, Crash. Hey, may he rest in peace, man. But yeah, dog, little Crash. Um, so they have Becky Lynch become NXT Women's Champion. This is not a jobber. Becky Lynch is not a jobber, Holmes. Becky Lynch is one of the top dogs on the main roster. They have her go down. She throws down with Tiffany Stratton, which I dropped a video earlier this week talking about Tiffany Stratton, and I'm going to say the same thing here right now. Tiffany Stratton is the next big thing. If she keeps her nose clean, which you guys know what I'm talking about, homie. If she doesn't fall out of line, if she doesn't start with any, mensadas or anything like that, and she sticks with it, hey, dog, this girl is the total package. I'm telling you guys, man. For those that do not watch NXT, this chick has got it all, man. She's beautiful. She's athletic. She's tough. This girl can put on a match. This girl is everything, dog. This girl is badass. Now, is there going to be enough time for her to move up and have a badass match with, say, like Charlotte Flair? I don't know. I don't know how much more Charlotte Flair has left. Charlotte Flair, you guys can see it in her mascara, dog. Charlotte Flair she's getting up there in age, man. She's getting up there in age, man. All right. You can see it, dog. You can see it. As soon as she comes out, I look at her and I'm like, yeah, the years are coming upon you, girl. I can see it. Still a great wrestler. Still a great wrestler, though. But this Tiffany Stratton chick, she's throwing down tonight with Becky Lynch, trying to get her NXT Women's Championship back. Whether she does or doesn't, I'm not really sure. If she does not get her strap back, to me, that's a sign that she's moving up. I think she's moving up. She's just too damn good, man. You meant Shawn Michaels magic powder. Hey, I heard a lot of stories about HBK in the background, man. I heard a lot of stories about HBK for New Japan's women wrestling than the WWE. Look, I mean, the WWE has a few restrictions on what they can do. To me, I think NXT gives them. I understand NXT is still WWE. I understand that, but it seems like they get a little bit more freedom down in NXT because I see them do a lot more wild stuff in NXT. Man, NXT, and I don't want to exaggerate this. Okay, so don't say like, oh man, you're comparing it. I'm not comparing it, but it kind of reminds me a little bit more. Maybe just because it's smaller. I'm not even really sure, but it reminds me a little bit more of the old ECW. Not because it's extreme, because they don't do extreme things like that where people are bleeding and thumbtacks and all, thumbtacks on the ground and all that stuff. No, but just the crowd, the fan base. Like if you were a fan of ECW back in the day, I think you probably are a fan of NXT more than Raw and SmackDown. The crowd seems a little bit more rowdy. They seem a little bit more into it. The wrestlers seem like they're not handcuffed as much as they are on Raw and SmackDown. Raw and SmackDown seem a little bit more fan friendly. Not to say that NXT is all raunchy, homie, and they're over there, doing whatever they want. No, but it seems like they have a little bit more, they're not leashed up as much. So, okay, have you seen that new wrestler on Netflix of OVW? Oh no, I haven't. Vince Russo was saying one of the younger chicks reminds him of Sunny. Uh, okay. You know what? I'm gonna look into that, man. OVW, man, has some rich history. OVW definitely has some rich history. She's got ring presence. Yeah, she does, Rich. Yeah, she does, man. me see. That's true. That's true. That's because it doesn't have that much eyes on it. Could be Shadow. It could be. There's probably not a lot of advertisement being thrown that way. I mean, that's what it comes down to, man. Once advertisers get all over the place, then they come with some rules. It's like, hey, man, we're trying to advertise our product, but we don't want to be advertising if you're going to be doing, A, B, and C. We'd rather be, you doing X, Y, and Z. And it's like, well, okay, now we got to start tightening up the leash a little bit. When more people are looking at you, you have to be a little bit more careful. Yeah, yeah. When it comes to censorship, wrestling has definitely took a big hit nowadays. Yeah, one slip. Yeah, yeah, I agree, man. I agree. There's not much of the blood, the bleeding. There's not a lot of the whole, bra and panty matches. There's not a lot of the whole, sex talk and all that stuff, man, that there was once upon a time, man. The attitude era, the ECW days, all that stuff, man. Trying to get all the eyeballs on there, man. But it just seems like NXT, you still get at least a little bit of that sense of feeling. So, but anyway, man, I just wanted to come on here and chop it up. I'm gonna go ahead and watch the fight tonight, and I will be watching also, keeping an eye out on NXT because NXT is starting to grow, and they're using the main roster to promote it. They actually had the contract signing between Tiffany Stratton and Becky Lynch on the main roster on Monday Night Raw. So, they're really trying to bring up NXT. Is that the best thing to do? I'm not really too sure, man, because I do want there to be a program that stays small, that stays somewhat underground-ish, where you can still have that feeling, where like NXT is today, kind of like the ECW back in the day. I don't want every televised program or program available to be, all on the same level. I do want one a little bit down here, man, because you get a lot more freedom with it. And that's very refreshing to see. So, but nonetheless, man, you guys keep an eye out on this Tiffany Stratton chick. She is badass, Holmes. She is badass, man. Easy on the eyes as well. Very athletic. She can wrestle. So, I think we're going into to a pretty exciting time, man. So we'll see what happens. I just want to come on here, chop it up for a little bit with all the junkies, use some of this equipment that I just got, man. So, because I won't be able to use it while I'm on the road. But anyway, man, if you guys are gonna watch NXT, go ahead and enjoy that. I will be keeping an eye out on that, and I'll be watching the fight tonight as well. Whatever you guys do, let me see. I hate bra and panty matches. I'll say this. Okay. All right. See, I was about to tap off, man. Okay. All right. I'll just say this one more thing about that. Okay. Let us know what you think. I will. I will. I'll check it out. Disco. Let me just say this last thing, man. The bra and panty matches. eh, You're right, Shadow. Like they weren't they weren't entertaining like that. It's not like it was like, oh man, this is a great match. It was probably more a little bit of like, hey Holmes, it's I think it go a little overboard and is your bra gonna pop off or something like that. But the matches themselves, it wasn't like it was just a bunch of drunken dudes over there that thought they were at a bar or a strip joint or something like that. Just yeah, woo, yeah, just a bunch of jackasses, dog. But entertainment wise on television, yeah, no, wasn't that good. Hey, shouts to all the junkies, Total Trucker Wrestling Rehab. I'll definitely be back on this coming week. Definitely got to break down Fast Lane. But till then, catch you guys on next one.
Take it home and I'll take off. And I'll